All right, what's up? Random surprise secret show because of the news. So let me refresh, make sure we're set, and then I'll go to the screen share. So we do have Kenny Hustleby. He's here. Let me switch this out. You guys can see both of us and the news, everything we're going to be talking about. So screen share, entire screen. Make sure we are set. Put this out of the way. Let me see. Let me know if you guys can see us. Everything's set. Can you see?
Let me see.
Fabian, what's up? Hustle in Silence. Bartek, Caroline, Ron J. Yeah, two. That's like 2 nights in a row. It is. You know, you come back for Wednesday night, and then you come back for more. Come back for seconds of Hustler Hacks. News. What news? How are you guys doing? Pretty good. I can see you guys. So Zach, very nice. Chris, what's up? Robert, Lion Sports District Deals. Fabian, let's see, looks good. Derek, dudes in the house for sure. District Deals, what's up? So yeah, I had to talk about the news because it's been everywhere. Talking about Foot Locker and Go and what's going on with that. So we're going to read and talk about the news as far as like their official press release. And then we'll throw in some theories in there. Like, is it good? Is it bad? What does it mean? What are some ideas that this whole Foot Locker and Goat thing could bring? Anything you want to throw in there?
Well, first and foremost, hi everybody. Everybody's like, hey, yeah, I'm still alive. This is not clone. This is real. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this show. Um, I'm excited for the topic. I think it could be like a lot of conflicting theories, but we'll get to it and see what everybody's point of view is. And I'm excited.
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna. Caroline said, "B, your skin is glowing."
Yep, that's all the fruits and vegetables I'm eating.
Oh man, eating healthy. I don't like that. So in the chat, we're definitely gonna need you guys throw in your comments on what you think, especially after we talk about our theories, and also I'm gonna read some theories from Twitter because Twitter went pretty wild, and I thought some of them were actually pretty funny and some ideas that they thought about. So we can throw that out there. And oh man, the is Hustle B losing weight? He is. B looking like a hustler snack. That's from Doug the Pug. You have that pregnant glow. Oh man, you guys are hilarious.
And
Yeah,
everything, all the theories right now is popping up already.
I know. So all three people that asked me where's Hustle B, there he is. He's right here. All right, so let's get into the main topic. I know you saw the news. At least I think so. Foot Locker just invested 100 million in Goat, largest investment ever made by the retailer. And a lot of the a lot of the comments afterwards were like, "I didn't even know Foot Locker's still around." Like, I don't even go to the mall anymore.
I mean, Foot Locker is still one of the number one sneaker resellers or retailers. I say before we call them resellers now,
Yeah,
we call them retailer first.
yeah,
But yeah, they're still pretty big. A lot of all major brands are still showing.
yeah.
They're still dropping in Foot Lockers and House of Hoops. So also too, Foot Locker, Champs, and East Foot Action is under a same company or umbrella.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I went mute for a little while. I'm trying to get this a screen share thing, but I think a lot of people even realize that. I mean, most of the sneaker people do, but some people don't. Let me go back to. I don't think it's even showing on here because I'm looking at the live and it's not showing the entire screen share. Screen sharing. Let me see. Let me know if you guys can see the screen share. That's like our main thing, what we're trying to do. And we hadn't done this towards like both of us talking. If it doesn't work, then I'll have to try something else. But I think it's just showing like Hustleby looking around. I don't think it's even showing him like it's not even
Yeah,
showing the
what's it
screen
just
share.
me?
What's up?
What is it just me?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
See, it's I'm presenting to everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Now I think we're set. All we see is B. Let me know if you see. Does it look better now? I think the corner's gonna look weird because they can only see like like a small part. But I think they could see screen share. Let me know. They can only see you in like a small little square, but you're there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Says yes, it's fixed. Okay, it's fixed. Okay, they think it's working good. They can see what we're looking at, what we're gonna read. Okay, so going back to your point with Champs and all that. So yes, so they own Champs, Foot Action, Kids Foot Locker, House of Hoops, and Eats Bay. So it's good for them because they get all the launches with the amount of money they invest in Jordan, Nike, and Adidas. That's from Jorge. He puts that in the comments. So let me see. Let me go to where am I? Okay, so let's talk about the next thing. Oh, whoa, whoa, things going fast. Okay, so here's the press release. So it says 100 million in Goat and Flight Club, which yes, they call themselves the Goat Group, with both of those combined. So it says here the investment is also expected to help accelerate Goat Group's global operations, expanding its omni-channel experience and innovative technologies. So we're constantly looking for new ways to elevate our customer experience and bring sneaker and youth culture to people around the world. So this sounds more global,
Global.
exactly what they say. We're excited to leverage Goat Group's technology to further innovate the sneaker buying experience and utilize their best-in-class online marketplace to help meet the ever-growing global demand for the latest product.
Hmm.
Latest product, which caught in there. More than likely, hype, stuff that I think people, once they come out, everyone's hyped up for the new releases. Um, and let me see, Foot Locker and Goat Groups, they shared commitment to trust and authenticity in the sneaker industry and will provide consumers with unparalleled experiences and diversified offerings. Um, and see, let me see, I think there was another point in here. See, with over 3,000 retail locations,
Yeah.
Foot Locker will support our primarily digital presence with physical access points worldwide, bringing more value to our community of buyers and sellers. I thought that was pretty interesting what they had said about Goat, though, with the 3,000 retail
Yeah.
locations. So, something to do. I mean, they didn't say that for no reason for the retail part, which I think is kind of crazy. So when you first read this, I mean, did you automatically think good or bad, or what did you?
Well, it was a lot of it. It was like questioning like what's the angle, right? And I read more into it that Goat was valued at 550 million. So this $100 million investment doesn't really make Foot Locker major player yet. You know, so I don't know what they got going on, but I think like one of the things that I mentioned to Glenn on our call earlier when I called him to talk about this, I think Foot Locker is trying to evade what happened with Toys R Us. Um, I think we see that a lot of the mall stores are closing, right? And Toys R Us was the biggest example, and I think Foot Locker is trying to get ahead of that, which is I think is a good move for them as a company. But I still really don't know. I'm still in the middle on what the effects of this for us third party sellers, right, or the secondary market.
Yeah,
I still don't know it because there's a lot of moving parts as far as the question comes up that will will that cut off our supply, right, from buying from our list discount retailers, right? So should we talk about that now, Glenn?
yeah, that's gonna be a total. Yeah, that's gonna be a thing that we definitely got to talk about and getting into that. And I guess going back to like the Toys R Us thing and with stores closing, they recently announced, I think last 2 weeks or so, I think like Gymboree was closing. They're like, kids clothing. They're going out of business. Charlotte Russe is going out of business. They're also like, more of like women's clothing. Um, and me and the wife were talking about this too. Like when you really look at brands, and like Instagram, social media, and all that, like Fashion Nova, like they're all over the place,
Right.
and like they're just like paying influencers. They've got like a huge following, and like a lot of these stores, like where they're just like so behind, they're just gonna lose out, and then yeah, eventually they close, they go out of business, like what happened with Toys R Us. And I think Foot Locker trying to get in the game, and they recognize people are making big money on the
Second.
secondary market and reselling and doing all this, especially for a lot of the hyped up stuff. People were talking about, like the off whites, like I don't even know, without bots and all this other stuff. I mean, everyone's just going to go straight somewhere else to look for it, whether
Right.
it is eBay or Go or anything else, if they want them or not. And so a lot of things come into question with that. And I guess we can talk about, before we get into like Ross Marshalls and all that and how we think it might affect that. um Someone had posted something like, what if you reserve, here's theory number one, right? What if I reserve a sneaker on the app, like, or not necessarily reserve, but I caught the raffle and I'm gonna win, I just to go pick it up.
Right.
So let's say I won the Jordan 1 Spider-Man, and then I go, it's 160, I pay, and then Foot Locker, while I'm there, they're like, hey, you know what? We'll give you $50 more, buy it back from you, and then we're just gonna put it on Go
Then sign it.
because we're part of Go technically.
Yeah.
So now they get to first make money off of you, and then they get to double dip and make money again, by putting it on Go on their end and giving you your little portion,
Yeah.
and then they could resell it and make money again that way.
Well, that's pretty funny that you mentioned that because StockX does have pop up stores, buying stores. So in New York, they have this thing on pop up, like bring your sneakers to us, we'll pay you out, right? So instead
Mhm.
of cutting off the shipping time, I think that angle could be played. But I'm just thinking like, how will that work, right? Literally, like you just got lucky and got the shoe, and be like, you don't even have like they could even play it like you don't even have to like buy it from us. We'll just give you the difference of what you'll make.
Yeah, might as well.
Right? Because like, and then there's offers already, right? And then you know how Goat gives you Goat credit. Foot Locker just gives you a Foot Locker gift card that you can use on the next win or purchase. But it gets really complicated, right? But here's the thing. It gets really complicated about technicality, about also about contracts, right? Since Foot Locker is a retail store and they're technically a dealer, right? Or a distributor for Nike. What happens to that contract if Goat is dipping their hands into the secondary market because it's not allowed for a distributor or a that has somebody that has a Nike account to sell it more than the retail price. So
Yeah.
technically, Foot Locker cannot resell it themselves. So I'm thinking like this could be a way for Foot Locker to be in the middle, but how will that work under contracts with Nike? Worst case scenario, Foot Locker pisses Nike off, and then Nike's gonna cut Foot Locker off. So and Foot Locker won't have any supply of Nikes, which is the major brand that they sell.
Yeah, that would just be weird, on how that would even work. I have no clue. I think what was so this photo, shout out to Premium Sneaks. This is not real there, but this is theory number two that they had in mind. Let me see if they'll let me do it. If you can see this. So this is their theory number two. Pre-order at 225 and retail 175. Which I think would just be hilarious. And and they have like this important message stuff about Goat Warehouse and things like that, so that like it's technically Foot Locker being with Goat, and then the pre-order it already locks you in, but yet you're already paying more than the retail price anyway that Nike already has assigned, even though a lot of the new sneakers are already going up in price.
Yeah.
But uh, this I couldn't see it happening. Um, or what do you think about something
No,
like
this will never happen. And
this?
like with actually with the articles that was published, um, what what I'm what I firmly believe that Foot Locker is using or needing Goat's help as far as the digital selling and experience for the buyers. If you can see the two big difference there, um, like it's for compare contrasting from a selling standpoint and a buying standpoint of view. It's still easier to buy from Goat because a lot of times people go to Goat because they already know what they want. People that go to Foot Locker are actually just window shopping most of the time. So I think they're trying to use Goat's maybe platform or their technology. I don't know how hard that is to create an app, but apparently Goat did it.
And Foot
So
Locker can't.
Foot Locker can, right? So so that's the thing. I mean, if you read into the more into it, they're talking more about globalization. Like going back to it, I looked into it. There's 3,200 stores that Foot Locker owns over 27 countries.
Yeah.
So that's just uh, that's just a pretty good. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty good move for Foot Locker to be staying relevant.
Yeah, in their case. Now let's go to theory number 3, which was your theory when you called me, talking about um
Oh,
yeah,
hi.
Ross, Marshalls, Burlington, and how it could affect that market going into this.
Mhm.
Um and I'll explain a little bit what you explained to me, and you can go into further detail. So Ken is telling me, when we go to Marshalls, you get complete with box, and on the corner you get the sticker, and it says, uh, FTL for Foot Locker, EAS for East Bay, and things like that. So obviously they came from these stores, and Marshalls, Ross, they get these in bulk. They get some sort of deal, maybe shoes that are past season. They didn't sell well. Now they're getting them from that. So if they don't sell well in store at the time, would it make sense now partnering up, with Go or whatever, to pretty much just sell it themselves on the secondary market, which would be Go, instead of selling them cheaper in bulk to Marshalls and Burlington and Ross,
Mhm.
for them to sell it as a
Right.
past season item?
Yeah.
Can they do that? Will they do that? Or could it change that way? That's what you kind of presented to me when you first called.
Yeah. I think that's the scariest part. If you try to look into it more, um, what's happening with Foot Locker and Foot Action? They even send it back to Nike, right? You'll see them on Nike factory stores too. Um, but logistically thinking, right? It would make sense and it would be easier rather than selling it to all these discount retailers of getting rid of it themselves. So, for example, um, I went to Full Lacquer the other day and bought some LeBron Zoom Generation for $59, and then I have a discount code that brought it out to like 45. Either way, $60 for a Zoom Generation is cheap. They're usually going for 100 to 130, right? A little under retail. I think retail was like 180 or 150. So in that certain case, I bought it because I'm gonna sell it to Goat. But what I'm thinking is, and if that doesn't sell, they go to discount retailers. They get rid of them. They they pull them out. They sell it on a third party or discount retailers. What I was thinking is Foot Locker cutting their losses right now, cutting their losses, but they're not really losing money. Instead of doing that, they could sell it themselves on Goat. Because if you look at Goat right now, there are items on Goat that are shipped now that are already in Goat warehouses.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
like
have,
pre-authorized. They already went through it. It's
yeah,
100% authentic. You can pay a little bit more to get it
pretty
now.
much usually $20 more. As soon as you hit it, it ships from Goat facility to you automatically. So that cuts down the shipping time. So um, that could be whereas Tommy said here because they would be selling them for less. No, they can only write it off based on how much they bought it for. So that's writing it off. So if you bought a shoe that you're trying to sell for 100, obviously you paid less than 100. So if they paid $20 on that, they're only allowed to write off $20. So technically, if they sell it on Goat platform or any other platform for 20 to $60, they're making more money.
Yeah, and I think Austin Gentlemen, so Goat Warehouse could be a potential tool for them, like what you were saying.
Yeah,
And Eddie was saying, what about cash flow? Necessary reason being they need to dump inventory. What do you think about, I guess, in that case? Because I mean, a lot of it too. Do you think it does go back to Nike, like what Derek says? I believe Foot Locker sends them back to Nike, not
yeah,
sell directly to Burlington
yes,
Marshalls.
yes.
Um,
I do believe they sell it. They send it back to Nike first, and then Nike sells it to all. Nike has contracts for all the past season and discount retailers. Because even Marshalls have like big sporting goods item that I've seen before that still has the.
yeah, that's true.
So I feel like they go back to the company, the brand. I think because as a distributor, I think there's a distributor that there's a certain clause in distributorship contract that if I'm trying to sell your item and then there's no market for it, it's not really my fault. It's not really my fault.
And I think so. That was that like the third theory or
I
third?
don't know.
Or, I don't know.
Second
The
one.
next one is so someone had this idea. Let's say, for example, you guys brought up off whites that just came out today, right? Um, the Air Max 90. So let's say the next theory was going to be since they do have invested some money into Go, what if they have this certain section in every Foot Locker you can go to that has a lot of the hyped up sneakers that people want that's already pre-approved from Go. They're authentic products with a high, like a higher
Yeah,
price because now this is somebody else selling it, not Foot Locker.
dude.
So it kind of is. But instead of you having to wait for Goat to ship out the product, for it to be authenticated, then it takes another, however many days to a week for you to actually get it. You can just go to the mall. It's right then and there. And someone already brought it there, and you can just get them the same day or day and a half or whatever. Someone took them back to sell them.
I just thought about something. Same concept, right? You know when you go to Nike factory outlet, they have like the big screen, like a giant tablet,
Mm-hmm.
right? That you can make a Nike ID. Literally, Goat can put one of those on every Foot Locker. Game over.
And you just pretty much just get whatever you want. But
Right,
it's gonna take some time, and they still gotta. It's even like when
right,
you go to Foot Locker though, like,
right.
well, we don't have it, but we can
But
order
like
it.
that's not like, but logistically, there's 12 warehouses thinking about in the U.S., right? So there has to be something closer to you, and then they could partner it up, right? They could back that theory up without, like I see, like it takes 10 to 14 days, right? 10 days to get to verified and then get to the buyer.
Yeah,
But technically, what Goat could do is FBA everything.
yeah, they'll be
Fulfilled
that kind.
by Goat, FBG, fulfilled by Goat. Like for example, I'll send all my inventory to Goat, and then everything's pre-approved, and then somebody clicks. If it's not available in store, Somebody clicks there on that giant tablet, and then I want this. It'll be there in 2 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, all the hype stuff right now is what people
Yeah,
really, really want, and a lot of it, Foot Locker, they get some, and then some get backdoored. Some actually do get raffled. Some you don't even know.
yeah,
So it's kind of like a mix, and people are just like, some people don't even really want to go to the mall, and kind of like, and not only that, but the super hyped up stuff, you can't even really get it anyway. So I think this gives them a chance, if that happens, for them to get into that market again and try to bring people back to their store, as far as like people that are looking for the
yeah.
newer hyped releases. They could help out that way.
Because if you're thinking about it, they're not direct competitors with each other. They could literally complement each other,
Yeah.
right? Like bringing more awareness to people that we sell Jordan 1 here too. Like try Foot Locker app first, or Foot Locker reservation, right?
Yeah.
Before buying to Goat. If you can't buy it from here, it's available on Goat. So I think it's just like capturing the market, right? Like instead of saying no to a customer, we don't have it here, they could say we have another option. You can get it here.
Very true. And that's what Dan says. That's how Amazon is killing it right now, taking 1/3 for using FBA.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think so. Someone else had this is another theory. There's so many theories out there that I think it's hilarious, and some of them, like I said, are really really funny. But someone had another theory. What if you go to your local Foot Locker and you bought some shoes? Um, let's say you went to Marshalls and you bought 4 pairs Air Max 95 JDI. They're selling okay, kind of decent. You make some money. You go to Foot Locker and they actually have like a authenticator
yeah,
that's a new job title that every Foot Locker will have, an authenticator to accept your shoes that you want to sell, because they're going to resell them in that same local Foot Locker through Goat, and you could buy it in hand and in store, and not have to wait for it to get shipped. I don't. It sounds cool. I don't really think that would happen, for them to hire like I guess like an authenticator
yeah,
to go through that. I don't see that happening, but that would be pretty cool though. For you to go in store, and you can technically kind of consign it there in your area.
yeah. But that's the thing though. Like when you put it that way, it looks really good, right? Like it brings foot traffic to their store. But who really goes to Foot Lockers anymore, right? Like plus with like Foot Lockers are usually in the mall. Parking is so far; you have to walk so far to go in. And like it's just like it's just another setup of era, right? Like if you notice, the newer Foot Lockers right now are stores by themselves, right? Like the nicer Foot Lockers are usually in an outside mall where you can directly go into it. So I mean, just having an authenticator, like technically all, like a manager or a supervisor in a Foot Locker should be able to authenticate, but I don't think they're that trained to do that in all kinds of sneaker. So I mean, very high chances of it not happening because it would cost a lot of money. That's what they're trying to avoid. I think with e-commerce, they're trying to avoid labor. The more people working, the more headache. That's what it is.
True. And shout out to Jake. What's up, Jake? And Jake says, or what if you buy it at Foot Locker and then you can list it at that Foot Locker on Goat, leave it in the store, no authenticated needed. And that was our theory number one, which is you buy it right then and there. But technically they wouldn't really care for you to list it. They would just pay you out right then and there, which they would give you, I would think, a small percentage. Now they're the ones that are going to sell it through Goat and do
Yeah,
the rest, but they're going to make way more than you would.
because technically, like if you're talking about volumes, Foot Locker could literally just make 2%, 3% profit on each consigned items that you give back to them. They're gonna make a killing. Right? Imagine all the breads or breads 11 that's gonna release this year. Imagine like giving you $50 more and they make $5 more, but there's a million pairs. That's $5 million right there. you know, so it's
Yeah.
in a perfect world that'll happen, but I think there's a lot of contracts that will get broken if that happens, and I don't think that's possible because one, Nike, you have a contract with Nike, and two, some of this brands have contracts with discount retailers, so as far as past season items. So um, there's a lot of foot that's gonna be ran over if that happens.
What's up, Tim? 2 nights. See, Tim in the live. Two nights in a row. And so this is fake, by the way. So people were asking and thought it was funny about this picture, but it is fake. And I give the shout out. This is from Twitter. So let me go to some of the Twitter comments. We can read those and go from there. So here's the next one. So this Kindle says, "Yep, they're all in this together. If they invest in Go and they can take the general release shoes, make them more limited, and set the value themselves, I don't like it, but I have to admit it's pure genius."
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, technically they could sabotage the market themselves and hold back certain inventories and only sell certain ones. I mean, imagine this: a Foot Locker store, Foot Locker could be like, "All right, we're only gonna release 50% of our off whites. The other 50% go to goat."
I know that's what's gonna. I mean, it's almost like general release. Or what about just they said exclusive too? What if it ends up being like a Foot Locker Go exclusive product? Well, pretty much you can just make whatever price they want it to be. At that point, but I don't know how that would work with Adidas or Nike or figuring that out.
Yeah.
So I thought that one was pretty funny. Let me go to let me see the next one. This thing. Oh, here we go. So is this not the definition of conflict of interest?
It is.
Because you have a retailer pretty much working with a reselling app, and people thought I mean, also when I was reading on there, people thought it was hilarious that it's kind of like, at one point, well, they still kind of do, but Foot Locker doesn't want resellers, but yet now we're investing money in the reselling app. Do you think a lawsuit or some people could get involved with something like that with a conflict of interest with Foot Locker though?
Oh, for sure. I think, especially with all these big companies, that's very possible. I mean, like especially with class action lawsuits, bigger. Like, you're talking about global lawsuit here. This is not just Nike America or Goat America against each other. This is Nike Global. Like, it's Foot Locker Global. If you think about it, like, Foot Locker's pretty small.
And Tommy had a good point because it's literally just like Ticketmaster, letting boys buy tickets and resell them on their platform, which is what they do. It's pretty hilarious though.
But here's the thing: Ticketmaster is not the sole maker of the tickets. They're still a dealer. They're not involved with the producer, right?
I don't know.
Like, I think Ticketmaster is just a platform.
I mean, I guess technically, well, I would think that I think with some bands or some shows, I don't know if it's like exclusive, like you only get it at Ticketmaster to begin with, and then they resell them like on StubHub and other random ones. But Ticketmaster does have like a secondary type of reselling one that's still technically owned by them, but they still make money from that.
Yep.
Let's go to the next one. Let's see. Whoa, where are we? Okay, so the cat is out of the bag. No need for a bot now. Remember where there's Foot Locker that includes Champs, Eastbay, and Foot Action. So I assume customers won't get access to releases, and now we'll have to pay above retail and aftermarket resellers.
Yeah, but that'll never happen. They'll always try to make it look like everybody can get it for retail.
So that's almost how Nike is doing it right now with the sneakers app. Like, oh yeah, everybody can just get off-whites. You just got to enter. Like,
right.
But how many people are taking L's? I mean, a lot.
A lot
on these.
Yeah.
I think for this, at least this tweet, it just the Champs Eastbay Foot Action. A lot of people kind of forget about that.
Yeah.
With them all being one. Finish Line is on their own. What else? What's the other one again? Shoe Palace is on their own.
What's the other one? Kicks USA got in trouble.
Oh, they did. What did they do?
Something about retail price.
Oh,
Yeah, they did with Nike. Uh,
this. Let me see. I have to say I'm confused by this investment. As a consumer, I did not see any advantages or reasons. Can I buy from Foot Locker and immediately post them on Goat for a lesser fee to avoid having to ship? This just seems odd.
yeah, I really think it's the other way around. Like everybody,
Whoa.
it seems like right from looking at it, right? Goat is like a more advanced platform, right? Oh, we talked about this too. Goat's a more advanced platform, but really, if you ask a regular person, they would recognize Foot Locker more than Goat.
Yeah, the name and how long they've been around, and
Right. They've definitely created a like a every kid growing up saw Foot Locker. Uh, like a regular mom that don't know that's not a sneakerhead would rather buy from Foot Locker, order there, get shipped, order from Foot Locker online than go. Because if you look at it, like the app right now is really for the early adopters, uh, for the generation of our dads. They're Foot Locker guys, they're retail store guys. So I really think that the reason why Goat accepted this investment is because of the fact of the Foot Locker has global presence already. Um,
and
they have
let's talk about how we've with eBay and everything. And Tommy brought up eBay as well. I mean, eBay, like we had mentioned, um is old school compared to, let's say, like Poshmark and Goat
right.
and everything else, because they're not necessarily doing anything to make themselves be known to a lot of,
Mm,
let's say, like 16 to 18-year-olds that are looking to buy different hyped up shoes. I mean, they're rather go to Goat than to go to eBay. And to buy those. And it's kind of surprising. I mean, well, not really, because a lot of people don't even know how to use eBay and don't really care how to use eBay that are younger. They
right.
want things to be simpler to understand and even to sell as well. Like they want to make things all difficult. And in this case, it makes it way easier to buy and sell, which is technically should be the goal
Yeah.
for everything.
I really think, like looking at it, right? If you step back and forget what we're doing, forget what we do for a living, I don't think I would consider Goat as a buying platform as a consumer. Because how the only reason why I would buy into Goat because right, talk about the culture. Culture is big, right? The only people why people would quote Goat, right? Like, oh, it's how this is $200 in Goat because they're looking at they're pretty much the culture is a group of people that are resellers too.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why it's a niche, very specific niche market that Goat captures. That they're more interested in globalization and opening up their market to what Foot Locker is offering. Because if you think about it, Foot Locker is marketing to the mass. Goat is usually seen or marketing as hype. You know, your your off whites.
And I mean, Tommy, the same thing, like eBay known as a knockoff world, and that's the thing that too that people do trust um, in Go and StockX because of the authenticity part. And with eBay, that's not necessarily there. You really have to do your homework
Right.
and assume. I mean, you have to really see really great photos from the seller and have that trust. And even when you get them, you want to double check with the in-hand product with the photos that you bought to make sure you got the real shoe. Um, that is an authentic product, and a lot of people don't really want to go through that. And I think even when we had talked to eBay when we had went which was what, late last year, we had talked about like a sneaker part, like what is there to do to improve that kind of section of eBay. And because really this is where it's going. It's just going to get more people are just investing more and more into this when it comes to like sneakers and everything else. It would only make more sense. But if you guys want a Hustler Hacks app, would have to be really, really creative.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know how would you beat the other ones.
yeah, undercut and you're banned.
You can't undercut. You can only price match.
Yeah,
Everything would be at the same price.
yeah, that would be
Um,
great.
and I think the last comment, which is hilarious. They just put the Foot Locker and go, "You are the GameStop of the sneaker community."
That was possible.
And the other one, so you guys can legally sell inventory meant for Foot Locker locations on GOAT. I'm confused as to why this investment was made. Foot Locker can literally control a market price. It shouldn't be legal. Boycotting Foot Locker until more info is released. This is
True.
shady.
True. I mean, that's true. I mean, like, like conflict of interest. Um, like, if you look at, if you look into like the backdoor, right, the backdoor release that pairs that are supposed to go to the public and be sold to consumers are being sold to resellers. The online version of it, if it ever happens. Literally, it's like, all right, enough of the backdoor. We'll just literally buy into your app, like invest 20%, and then let me use your app and sell all my inventory, right? But I don't think that's happening. And I mean, think about this. Like we're talking about all these theories like this that has a really high effect on things, but realistically, like Foot Locker could just be just wanting to make more money and invest it in gold.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think it's kind of a funny. Well, it's just like a fun show just to talk about what could or couldn't happen. Just because the news I've just made, I thought it was super interesting. On them putting so much money on Go, and who knows, like none of this could happen, but at the same time, it could be like a great thing for the resellers and things that have been going on, especially with the global part.
Yeah.
That could also help. So that's why we wanted to just talk about random theories and stuff that was out there, what could happen. But if it ends up for the better, then I'm all for it. But I think there's always going to be two sides with this. Is
Right.
it going to be better for the reseller, or is it going to be better for the consumer? And they want it to be better for the consumer
Right.
more than anything, right? But in our end, we sell more than we actually keep. Even though we are fans and have our own collection here and there, but for the most part, I mean, it's about making money, and that's what we do on our end. And I think it's hilarious though, when you look at like the sneaker community part, and they always make a big deal on how like resellers are evil, resellers always trying to why don't you guys get a real job? And especially when it comes up to the hyped up stuff or the new releases and things like that. And yeah, you want shoes, you might want infrared sixes, but you don't need infrared sixes.
Right.
So if you want them, then you'll pay how much this person or this app or whatever is selling it. But you don't need them. You want them. And that's what I think people need to really understand when it comes to that part. It's like, that's not part of like, I don't know why they would see the whole reseller part, I think kind of funny as being evil and stuff, because yeah, we're all consumers in a certain way, but like if Walmart and Target and everybody and Amazon all at once raise up the price of toilet paper to I don't know, like $200, that would be different because I have to wipe myself. But you don't need infrared sixes.
Nope.
No.
First world problems.
We're evil. Just admit it. That's from Doug the Pug. Anything else I want to throw out there? Anything in the chat that you know what? Let me take this thing off. Let me stop. You can see us. Anything else you want to throw out there in the chat? Anything, even Q&A and period about reselling? No, Poppy, supply and demand. That's from Patrick. So, B, anything else you want to throw out there?
Nothing. I just want to see it. I just want to, like, I just want to see things pan out. Cause like now I'm thinking more about it. Like this could literally like not affect us, like at all, because they just want to make money. Go Foot Locker is just a venture capitalist. They
Yeah.
just want they saw the success in Goat and put money in. That's it. Like and help Goat make more money so that their 100 million investment becomes doubles in the next 3 years.
Yes, sir.
Because I mean, you're looking at it. That's it. I mean, like why like Foot Locker has invested for the culture, right? Like told you about the pencil, the sneaker design academy.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, they're just probably just throwing money for the culture, feeding the culture. That's what it is. Feeding the resellers.
Yep, makes sense. Anybody get Off-White Air Max? Did you get any?
Nope. I had a reservation the other day, and I was 4 minutes late, and it sold out as soon as I clicked on it, and then took else on the draw.
Paper Drew says paying go off not to open brick and mortar locations.
That's probably what it is. Since they own what's that Fight Club already.
Shaq and Off White, Skechers coming out with Off White version, Starberry Off White.
Who knows? Like Goat just wants to use Foot Locker's warehouse.
Right? Skechers slip on babe. You guys come up with this stuff. What other brands can we throw out there? We talk about Fat Farm and academics and
Right.
Levi's and
Supra.
oh yeah, Supra and all the other
Like,
ones we've seen out there
have you seen them?
that Ross carries. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I think we're good. Kind of funny, random live show. Wanted to throw that out there since we got the news today. Any other reseller type of news? We'll probably get some random live shows in there just to kind of talk and discuss over it and see what's going on. But I think that's it. I think the next thing, I think tomorrow I do got a new video coming out. I was finished editing it, so we'll have that, and then live again as usual. And then we have friends and family coming up too. We'll have our secret out hustled, and I'll get as much footage as possible for that and see what we find out there. And I think that's it.
Don't hope for any footage. I might potentially destroy Glenn's camera.
That'd be something out there. All right. Appreciate it, everybody that stopped by, watched the show. And yeah, let me know in the comments later on if you're watching the replay. And we'll talk about maybe some updates for Wednesday show. So we'll see you. Go out and get it.